My ex-wife cheated, so I moved on with my daughters. Years later, they're siding with her, begging me to reconcile. With my girlfriend in the middle, I'm struggling to make them understand it'll never happen. Hello Reddit I+ here. You know, when my marriage ended, I never thought I'd be here, years later, rehashing it all with my daughters. But here I am, stuck in this awkward and, frankly, infuriating position, where my own kids are trying to play matchmaker for me and my ex-wife. Let me start from the beginning because you need to understand why that's never going to happen. My ex-wife, Rachel, and I were married for 7 years. We had 2 beautiful daughters, Lily and Emma, who were my entire world. Our marriage seemed fine, not perfect, but what marriage is, right? Then, one day, I found out she was cheating on me. I won't get into the messy details, but suffice it to say, it wasn't some fleeting mistake. It was a long, deliberate betrayal. When I confronted her, Rachel tried to justify it, said I worked too much, that I wasn't emotionally available. But you know what? I worked long hours to provide for our family, to make sure our kids had everything they needed. I wasn't perfect, but I didn't deserve that. No one does. The divorce was ugly. She wanted joint custody, but her affair had consequences. The court saw it my way, and I got full custody of Lily and Emma. I'll admit, those first couple of years as a single dad were tough. There were sleepless nights, school projects I barely understood, and more than a few burnt dinners. But we got through it. We built a life, and somewhere along the way, I met someone new. Enter Claire. She's everything Rachel wasn't. Kind, supportive, and honest. She came into our lives like a breath of fresh air. She's been amazing with my girls, treating them as her own without ever trying to replace their mother. And for a while, it seemed like we were all on the same page. But then Rachel started creeping back into the picture. It wasn't immediate, and it wasn't obvious at first. She'd show up to school events and linger a little too long in conversation. She'd send texts under the guise of co-parenting updates. And then, one day, she sat me down and said she wanted to fix things. For the kids, she said. I told her no. I was polite but firm. I explained that we were better off apart and that I was happy with Claire. Rachel didn't take it well, but she backed off. For a while. Fast forward a few years. Lily and Emma are teenagers now, and they're spending more time with their mom. I've always encouraged them to have a relationship with her. Whatever my issues with Rachel, she's still their mother. But lately, they've started pushing an agenda I can't get behind. It started with little comments. Mom seems so much happier now. She's really changed, Dad. Wouldn't it be great if we were all a family again? At first, I thought it was just wishful thinking, typical teenage stuff. But then, they started escalating. Last month, they sat me down like I was the child and told me I needed to give Mom another chance. They had this whole speech prepared about forgiveness and second chances. They even threw Claire under the bus, saying she'd never be their real mom. Let me tell you, that hurt. Claire has done nothing but love and support those girls. She's gone to every recital, every soccer game, every parent-teacher conference. And yet, here they were, acting like she was some temporary stand-in. I tried to explain my side. I told them that what Rachel did wasn't just a mistake. It was a choice that shattered our family. I reminded them of the nights I stayed up with them when they cried for their mom. I told them how much it hurt to see her betrayal, not just as a husband, but as their father. But they didn't want to hear it. People change, Dad, Lily said. Mom deserves another chance, Emma added. It felt like I was talking to a brick wall. And Claire's caught in the middle of all this. She's tried to stay out of it, but I can see how much it's weighing on her. She doesn't say it, but I know she's wondering if she'll ever truly be accepted by my daughters. And that's not fair to her. It's not fair to any of us. So, here's where I'm at. I'm done trying to justify my choices to everyone. I've built a good life for myself and my daughters, and I'm not going to let Rachel waltz back in and tear it apart. I've told my girls that I love them, that I always will, but that getting back together with their mom is not an option. Not now, not ever. They're upset, of course. Teenagers always think they know best. But I'm standing my ground. Because at the end of the day, I've learned that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, and it certainly doesn't mean repeating past mistakes. Rachel made her choices, and I've made mine. It's time for everyone to respect that. And you know what? I'm okay with being the bad guy in their eyes if it means protecting the life I've worked so hard to rebuild. Because some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. Some are better left burned.